Thank you, Mr. Stinchfield, for joining us today. I'm going to read aloud the simple rules for this vetting session. No one is allowed to be in the room except for us. All electronics in the room should be turned off except for those used by the vetting committee, including laptops, camera, and audio equipment used for recording. Cell phones should be turned off to avoid interruption of the recording. No written material or notes will be taken except for those taken by the vetting committee. North Texas Council vetting panel members and candidates, along with company, agree that all questions and responses at this vetting session are to remain confidential until all videos are uploaded to the North Texas Council and/or alternate websites and are considered public information. Verbal questions will be asked today, and verbal responses will be given by the candidate, limited to 1 or 2 minutes as instructed.
Gotcha.
Hand signals will be given to you to indicate 15 seconds, and then the stop hand signal will indicate that you're out of time.
Okay.
The candidate will receive a copy of the vetting interview recording in DVD format, and once the video has been uploaded to the North Texas Council or alternate websites. Again, Mr. Stinchfield, we would like to thank you for joining us today and taking time away from your busy schedule.
Happy to do it.
All right, we will go around the table to introduce ourselves briefly. My name is Adrian Solisis. I'm from Grapevine, and I represent the North Texas Council and the We the People of Texas.org.
Thank you for being here, Adrian.
I am Ross Kessig. I'm from Irving, Texas, and I'm also with the North Texas Council, and thank you, Mr. Stinchfield, for joining us today.
No, thank you, Ross, as well.
Mr. Stinchfield, would you please tell us what office you are running for, tell us about yourself, and give us a 2-minute self-bio.
I'm running in the Republican primary, Congressional District 24 here in Texas, against Kenny Marchant. The district basically goes from Carrollton, Coppell, Irving, all the way across 183 through the mid-cities, South Lake, Colleyville. It does pick up Addison and parts of Dallas. So before I started running for this race, I worked for Channel 5 for nearly a decade, in TV news for 20 years. I learned a lot of things about investigations, but most importantly, I got tired of interviewing career politicians who, quite frankly, had no common sense and tried to complicate the issues, speak over the American people, I think in an effort to simply up their level of self-importance. I had uncovered a story that General Motors was going to buy a suite at Cowboy Stadium just after they had gotten bailed out. I started to work on that story without even telling my bosses. Next thing you know, I get hauled into the general manager's office, and they said, "You will never work on that story again." That was the moment when I realized I had to get out of TV news, and the only way for me to affect the kind of change that I wanted to affect on this country was to run for United States Congress and send career politicians packing. Because the go along to get along mentality has gotten this country into a huge mess. Now I like to say I'm a Texas oil man. I own Quick Car of Irving, a Texas oil change business in Irving. I live in Las Colinas. I have a wife, Amy Vanderoff, who hosts Good Morning Texas, and a 3-year-old son. He'll be 3 in June. I believe we need to get back to the basics, and I believe in limited government, and I'm just tired of Washington's nonsense. It's got to end.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. This is a 3-part question. What is your vision for the state of Texas? What are the 4 top goals to attain your vision? And what are your current plans to achieve your vision?
So my goals for the state of Texas, and I'll probably have to have you review some of the questions as we go, are very similar to the same goals I have for the United States. I mean, Texas is doing better than most states in this country. But the bottom line is we need to improve the economy. Even in Texas, as I go knocking on doors, and we've been running since September, I've knocked on thousands of doors, it is amazing to me how many people are still out of work. And we hear about Texas's great economy, which it is better than the rest of the country, but it is still struggling. We need to improve the real estate market. There are many people out there struggling to sell their homes. We need to get back to the basics, get Dodd-Frank out of the way, which is a bill that put many regulations on the banking industry, which makes it very hard for banks to give loans, which in turn makes it very hard for people to buy houses, which in turn makes it hard to sell houses. I believe we need to do a better job of unleashing our energy resources. We need to drill more, and we need to get the federal government out of the way. That means getting the EPA out of the way. I believe doing away with the EPA altogether. And of course, we need to do a terrific job of protecting life. I'm a strong social conservative and respect marriage. So we need to just get back to the basics. The Constitution gave us a limited government. We need to get back to limited government. You can say that for Texas. You can say that for the United States of America.
Okay, so you've sort of answered 1 and 2. So what are your current plans to achieve those goals?
So as I said, the best way for me to affect change was to run for Congress. And so we have been running now since September, and I believe that career politicians are out of touch with the people that they represent. So one of the ways to affect change is, for me as an investigative reporter, to be in Washington is to uncover and expose waste, fraud, and abuse. But it's not just the mission of uncovering that, it's the mission of letting people back home know exactly what's going on. So I say don't vote for Grant Stinchfield, the man. What I want people to do is vote for my mission, so I can inform them back home and we can create this power vacuum that now when we get so many people behind us to stop Washington's nonsense, the career politicians will have to listen to us. And all I am is the front man in Washington being your voice up there. And the quickest way to affect change will be to get me in Washington and send the good conservatives that are up there, and there are a few, but send them the cavalry, and I'm the cavalry, and here I come.
Thank you.
The Bill of Rights has not been amended since its ratification on December 15, 1791. How do you justify, if any, the Patriot Act and its suggested violation on all or most of the 10 amendments?
The problem with the Patriot Act is it's just like so many laws in Washington. It's overly complicated, and it's very difficult to decipher what the actual effects are on individual liberties. So I think we have to be very, very concerned about privacy rights of individuals when we look at the Patriot Act. Yet I still have a strong belief in national security. And I believe there are portions of that act that will protect national security. But I don't think that should come at the expense of privacy rights of individuals. And so what happens is they write these bills, and this is career politicians in Washington, they write these bills in a way that they could argue their case either way in court. And it doesn't matter whether you're right or wrong. You can bring something to court, and the reason why they can bring these things to court is because it's too complicated. And a lot of it doesn't even make any sense. You can ask constitutional scholars what one part of the Patriot Act means. You'll have one constitutional scholar who says one thing and one constitutional scholar who says another thing. We need to make government simple. From the Patriot Act on down to every single bill that is written. There is no need to overcomplicate these things, because what can be well-intentioned often has the effect of hurting the citizens of this country, and that's what we got to get away from.
Thank you.
Share your views on in-state tuition for illegal aliens.
I don't think we should be giving in-state tuition to illegal aliens, bottom line.
Would you care to elaborate on that and the reasons why?
Well, I think one, if you're in this country illegally, you should not be getting benefits to citizens of this country that struggle to get. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I just firmly don't believe it. We don't have the money, one, to be handing out that money, much less to people who are here that have broken the law.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. What is your stand on the social issues? You have mentioned that already, but gay marriage, abortion, etc. Just to restate those.
The great thing about social issues and using it as a barometer for who you elect into office is that if you show me a social conservative, I will show you a fiscal conservative. The two go hand in hand. If you show me a fiscal conservative, I can't always show you a social conservative. Oftentimes I can. But I would say 99% of the time a social conservative is going to be fiscally conservative, because it has to do with the moral fiber of this nation and where they want this country to go. I was raised Catholic. I believe in the sanctity of life, and I will do everything in my power to protect it. And I was taught from an early age that marriage is between a man and a woman. And that's my religion. That's what my religion teaches me. The moral fiber of this nation is there. And when you look at that, you can then decide on your financial decisions as well. And that's being responsible. And we're not being responsible with our money. And And that's why I think it's a good barometer of a politician. So I would urge everyone out there to look to social conservatives, because I guarantee you they'll be a strong fiscal conservative when they get there, and that's exactly what I'll be.
Thank you.